clone stamp tool allows me to copy from a source area and brush the source area image into a target area. So in order to start that, I'm just going to get rid of that seashore because I don't need that anymore. And I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to zoom into it a little bit by getting the zoom tool that's up here. I'm just going to make it just a little bit bigger. Now it's kind of pixelated, but that's okay. I'm going to get the clone stamp, which is right here. Now remember, down here are the tool options. The clone stamp has two options, both the clone stamp and the pattern stamp. I do not want the pattern stamp. I want to make sure that I'm using the clone stamp tool. And you're going to be able to vary the size of this from something like that to something smaller. It's better to start off with a smaller one so that you can see what's going to happen here. Now I want to try and get rid of this line that's right down the middle of this image that's created by the edge. And I want to try to blend this out. I want to try to take this area right here and kind of blend it into this area right here to get rid of that line. In order to do that, what I do is I put my cursor where I want the source to be, and I'm going to press the Option key. And you can see it turns into a little crosshair. So I press the Option key and then I click my mouse, and this area right here is now going to be reproduced wherever I brush. So if we look over and we see there's a little crosshair, and then what's at the crosshair is going to be reproduced where I'm brushing. And it'll become obvious if I go all the way down here and we can see that the sun is starting to be reproduced where I'm brushing, right? I'm going to undo and I'm going to go back and I'm going to get an option. I'm going to get my source area right here because this color right here is very close to what I want. So I'm going to do source, click, and then I'm going to kind of very gently try to brush this area out. Source, click, and I'm going to kind of gently try to brush that out. I'm just trying to be really subtle about how I do this in order to create a little bit of a transition that works better. So I'm going to do the same thing up here. Source, click, and I'm going to get rid of that hard line right there. Source, click, and I can kind of get rid of that line by going like that. Source, click, and I get rid of it. It's going to become easier down here where I do this on the seashore. So if I do source, click, and then I just gently kind of erase this, you can see what's being reproduced is at the crosshair. Source, click, blend, source, click, blend. Depending upon where the source is, it makes it a little easier for us to get rid of that hard line. And we can kind of pick where we want to do that. This is where it gets a little tough. I have to kind of find, let's see, I'm going to go way over here and use this as my source. I'm going to click, and then I'm going to kind of try to reproduce that part of the wave here to erase the hard line. I'm going to go source, click here to get rid of this. And I've almost got it. The hardest part of this is getting rid of this area right here where the land kind of has this strong transition. So I need to keep working at that until I get rid of this line very gently and very subtle. I'm going to try to, whoops, I'm going to undo, and I'm going to option click. That creates a source. I'm going to kind of gently try to softly make this go away so that we don't see quite so much of it. I also want to get rid of, I'm going to undo, I want to get rid of the second reflection of sunlight. So I've got a sun here and I've got a sun over here, and I'm going to need to try to get rid of both of those. I'm going to have to get rid of one of those by blending in some other sky into this area so that there's only one sunset. So I'll keep working at that, and when I get it done, we'll keep going.